Shalom, I'm giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Rukak Wadash Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, This is Why We here at GMS do not have unity camps. Okay? You know, recently we did, well, actually this morning and last night, I did a couple of videos on Bishop Nathaniel of the IUIC concerning a couple of topics. The MOTB, which he says it's sin, it's not a chip, C-hip, and also he went into hell, and hell is an actual place that your spirit burns in forever. He says that the lake of fire is an actual realm that the Lord, our Lord, has a key to open it up and throw you in there forever. But he said something very different on an interview he had in South Africa with this sister. If I can find it, I was looking for it. I can't find it. I don't know if it was taken down, but it was on her page. So I got to find it, and I'll find it. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it to your attention. But he says, I believe that's about 49 minutes, either 49 minutes in or 1 hour and 49 minutes in. But I'm pretty sure it was like 45 minutes in. The lake of fire came up, and he said, "Oh, that's talking about the lake of fire is talking about America, which is Babylon on fire, shop being hit by missiles." He didn't say it's also talking about the lake of fire, but this was maybe 5 months ago. He had went to South Africa, but anyway, I stumbled upon this video right here. Sakari leader, Guerrilla Hebrew, which you can see right there, Al-Azhar, ripped apart in debate. Did Christ die for Romans? Now, what do you mean? Somebody asked you that. You said, what do you mean Romans? Because the Apostle Paul was a Roman. So what do you mean by Romans? I'm talking about white people. Nope, he didn't come for them. If they were Edomites. You had Israelites that had Roman citizenship. Well, where's that in the Bible? Apostle Paul was a Roman citizen, but he was an Israelite. He was mistaken. He was mistaken for being an Egyptian that set up a group of murderers to take down the Roman Empire. So, you know, matter of fact, he uses status as a Roman citizen to have the Roman authorities be on his side. Matter of fact, the way he was executed was a more humane way than being crucified. And they hung the Apostle Peter. He requested to be hung out upside down. And the Apostle Paul's head was chopped off because they said, well, we can't crucify you that way. That's only for niggas. But you are a nigger. You know what I mean by that. But because you have Roman citizen status, we have to honor your execution by chopping your head off. Because it was a quick death. Your head got chopped off and you gave up the spirit. The cross, it's an agonizing, slow death. But anyway, this is the main reason why we don't deal with unity camps. And anytime a camp rolls up, different camp, you know, hey, we'll say shalom, you know, they're former One Wester. But I'll immediately go into what they deal with, you know, their topics, and I'll question it. I'll have an impromptu debate on it, right? But anyway, we were talking about this Saturday about the Sakari not accepting certain books or letters or epistles of the Apostle Paul. But you're going to hear it from Al-Azhar, or priest, high priest, whatever his chief high priest, whatever his title is. You're going to hear it, and that confirms it, you know, that he doesn't believe in any of the epistles of whatever the Apostle Paul said is not gospel, in other words. So I'm just going to so we were talking about it, but we said there's certain things that they didn't agree with. So pretty much they don't agree. They might say accept Paul's writing, but they don't accept it as authoritative. He uses that word. So here's the proof on it. And like I said, man, this is why we will not have a unity camp, because we don't know what another camp is going to say, whether it be ISUPK, IUIC, Sakari, HODC, whatever. And we are set up to defend the gospel. So if somebody's teaching something contrary to what we're teaching, we got to tell them, well, look, brother, you're going off. And it might turn into a debate. It could be turned into a friendly debate. But anyway, I'm going to let you hear it, then I'm going to close.
That link was furnished for a sister by the name of Yasha, right? But let's just entertain this briefly. Let's see where this takes us.
So what's good?
Yeah, what's going on, sir?
So you teach that only Israelites can have salvation, correct?
I teach that conceptually what salvation is about biblically is a nationalistic concept. Yes.
Okay.
Which happen to be Israelites.
All right. And you saying that Christ only died for Israelites too, correct?
I mean, that's what the book says.
Okay. So you believe
That's the first lie already. I asked him, did he believe that Christ only died for Israelites? And he said that's what the book says. But we know that the book does not say that. Only thing you have
Well,
to
if you
do
understand
is
the
go
book.
to John 3:16. For
No,
God
John,
so loved the
come on,
world
brother,
that he
come on,
gave his own.
come on. That's old. John 3:16. Come on now. We done blew that out of the water years ago. Come on, man. Come on with that. Cut it out.
Only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but shall have everlasting life. And then you can just go to 1 John chapter 2, starting at verse 1 and verses 2, and it'll tell you that he did not just die, that he was not just the propitiation for our sins, referring to the Jews, but for the sins of the whole world as
The
well.
whole world is talking about Israelites because the other nations did not have the law. So how can they, sin if they don't know the law? The law's got to be given to you first.
But let's just continue.
everything that the book says, right?
I don't understand your question.
You believe the whole volume of the book, right?
Well, contextually, in the
All
book of
right.
Psalms 40 and 7, where the term volume of the book was referring to, was the Torah. So certainly I believe in the Torah.
Okay. Cool. So now
Which is true but ultimately it represented the whole book, New Testament. But when that statement was made in Psalms, it referred to the books that were already written, were the writings, the prophets, the history, and the laws.
now I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
All right. Can you go to the book of Galatians?
That's not the Torah, brother.
I'm still going. We going to what Paul wrote. Can
I
you go
do
to?
not I do not view the epistles of Paul as authoritative. I do not view the epistles of Paul as authoritative. I do not view the epistles of Paul as authoritative. I do not view the epistles of Paul as authoritative.
So, I just found out just now that he doesn't deal with any of the books of Paul. He might quote Paul or bring us something out of Paul, but not say that it's scriptural or authoritative, as he uses that word authoritative, which we believe the whole book, the writings of Paul, the letters, the epistles of Paul, was a part of the book. It says I read it the other day. It said, and from that a child. Let me see if I can get it up. I should know it by heart, but that's it. And from a child. I hope I'm saying it, putting it together right. and that from a child. I'm sorry. And that from a child. Let's see if it comes up. 2 Timothy 3 verse 15, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Yahushua. That represented the whole Old Testament, and ultimately it represents the whole book. At that time, the whole book wasn't, the New Testament was being put together. It was a series of epistles. So, the Holy Scriptures is the Old Testament and the New Testament and the Apocrypha. Let's come on back. Give me a second. Okay, let's get back into this.
So notice that he said he didn't view the epistles of Paul as authoritative. Then later, I'm going to ask him, you're going to see it, did he believe that anything that Paul wrote was authoritative? He said no. And the argument that I was going to use was the argument from the previous video that I did when I got the other false Hebrew camp elder or one of their captains, Tazariot, busted with of ISUPK. If you want to hear that argument, go to the video where I get Captain Tazariot busted. I was going to use that Galatians 6, 7 through 8. And if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and you know, after you watch this one, go watch that.
Let me go to that. Galatians 6, 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Okay, come on back over here.
That video, but he put it out that he didn't believe in the epistles of Paul. So I wanted to get a clear cut. I didn't want to have nothing ambiguous. I wanted to go somewhere that he actually believed in, so all of his minions could see him get destroyed with something that he actually believed in. I didn't want to bring out anything that was shaky and then that he could say, well, I don't believe that anyway. I don't accept that. So
You don't believe anything that he said is authoritative?
I do not believe the epistles that Paul wrote are authoritative. No.
Okay, cool. So you don't believe that anything that he wrote is authoritative? Okay, cool.
No.
Okay, no problem. So then let's go to Luke chapter 23. Do you think that Luke, what he wrote, is authoritative?
Well, Luke is Paul's student, but you know, Luke took different accounts of Christ and compiled them into his gospel. So I don't have a problem going to the book of Luke. That's fine.
Do you take it? You didn't answer my question. Do you take it as authoritative? Don't be
I mean, I just told you how the book of Luke was compiled. So if you read Luke 1, Luke tells you how it's compiled, right? Authoritative. Luke does get some things wrong historically in his gospel. That's not a matter of debate. That's just a fact.
So as you see right here, he's having a hard time because He's very slithery because these are deceptive men. He can't give me a straight up answer. So you're going to see me having to continue to drill to him to get an exact definitive answer. Only thing I was trying to get him to say, do you accept the Gospel of Luke rendition of the crucifixion and how it went down?
But I have no problem going to the book of Luke.
So you don't believe in the Gospels? Yes or no?
No, I just told you I have no problem going here.
Do you believe the Gospels are true or are they not true?
When did I ever say that the Gospels are untrue? When did I allude to or anything of that sort, sir?
Do you believe in the historicity of the Gospels? Yes or no?
Of course, but I also understand
Okay,
that the
then.
God. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I needed him to say. When I asked him, did he believe in the historicity of the gospel?
Okay, so I don't gotta listen to no more. If you want to listen to the rest of this, you can go. If I remember, I'll leave the link in the description box. This is the false prophet. His handle is the false prophet. Sakari leader, guerrilla Hebrew, ripped apart in debate that Christ died for Romans. My main point was, this is why we do not deal. We do not engage in, camp, unity camps. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next one.